Hey guys, it's Andy here. I want to talk to you all about this other thing. Yeah, that whole double standards crowd. Yeah, just an observation. I'm sitting here thinking that you got, you know, double standards. You got one set of standards that you'd like to hold others to, and then a standard that you'd like to be held to. And then it dawned on me, no, it's it's not double standards. There's only the standards that you would hold other people to. These double standards, folks, they don't have any standards for themselves. Yeah, kiddies, here's the deal. Call them on it. You'll see it yourself. If somebody has a standard they'd like you to be held to, and you question them on examples where they exceeded or met those standards, you'll discover that they didn't. Those people don't have any standards. It's a sophist stunt that's been trained into people to self reinforce their cult ideologies, whether that be on the left or the right. Both of them are doing it. Um, let There's this thing I learned as a kid. Set the bar wherever you want, buddy. You're going first, because this whole thing where you set the bar for me way the hell up here, and everybody else is okay down here not exceeding that bar. No, I want everybody else to go to this bar. So what I did was I set the bar where I was comfortable with it. This is an ethical, moral, defensible position. I set the bar by the shit I did, by the standards I held and the standards I kept. Um, I don't care how lofty your ideas are for me to be this, that, and the other thing, some kind of superhuman thing that's expected of me. No. This is the standard you set, and this is the standard I set. I don't want to hear any criticism from somebody who's not going to at least meet the standards that I myself have met. Which leads me to the other point. Okay, it's my business how I value different things. Um, Equality, I don't believe in that myth. So these standards of equality that you'd like me to adhere to, they're bullshit. I don't buy that stuff. This is some like pipe dream fantasy. Um, they're like tools of the world have been trained to be foolish. Um, it's it boggles the mind, some of the stuff that people take as gospel with no basis in reality. My standards are here. I don't want to hear about what you expect of me. Show me by your example that your standards are better than that in a tangible way. Maybe. Um, it's kind of funny. Um, the other thing that I notice that goes along with it, the standards are different for people that actually produce and take responsibility for their lives, and people that don't produce and don't take responsibility for their lives. The people that don't take responsibility for their lives are demanding that somebody comes in with a gun and gives them equality. You're never going to get equality out of a barrel of gun unless you're holding it. And these clowns preaching for this double standard, or that we want to make society better by the force of a gun. These people are insane. They're not even going to do even the basic intellectual due diligence of like weighing all the outcomes. Like the Second Amendment issue is just stupid. Guns are dangerous. Therefore, you're going to send people with guns to go kill people who have guns. Okay, this is a cycle of violence you're not going to be exempted from. You're not talking about violence between two groups not associated with you. That's going to affect everybody here. Everybody in the whole country is going to be affected by them going out to take everybody's guns, because them people ain't going for it, dude. Those people are responsible. You don't fuck with them like that. The idea that the mentalities of people that are let people, the the mentalities on the left is the government's its job is to come and save them. The people on the right, they're more responsible. Okay, that means they're responsible for their own safety too. The founding fathers nailed it. I mean, they were right on the money. It's your responsibility to defend yourself, even if you have to defend yourself against the government. That would suck. I'd rather not go there. But whose responsibility is it to protect you from the government? The government? Yeah, they got a catch-22 there. They're not going to protect you from them. Look at all the corruption. So when you look at this double standard thing, yeah, them folks should really, we need to tell all them to pound sand. Make them go first. Have them show you where they exceeded those levels and actually still produced. Because frankly, I don't want to hear from, I don't want ideology preached to me or my children or anybody else from somebody who's never been a productive member of society. If you're not a productive member of society, really please stay out of economic conversations. Stay out of ideologies. Leave that to the producers, because really you have no clue what you're talking about. So you look at all these different double standards that everybody's applying because it works for them. Well, of course it works for them because they don't have any standards for themselves. The moment you ask them to show you their standards that they've maintained, you find out that they're completely full of shit, and they wouldn't even attempt it. You'd be surprised how many times when you confront them, they are not going to even attempt to justify or explain where they held themselves to that standard. This whole thing, feminists talk about, equality and all that stuff. You start talking to them about how things go in family court, they shut the fuck right up. They don't want equality there. They want equality here where it pays. But they're not asking for equality. They want special treatment. The double standard crowd, yeah, they're not interested in any of that stuff for themselves. They're just interested in getting everybody else to take care of their business. It's very disingenuous, morally reprehensible, and intellectually just pathetic. Not when you think about it, it's come on. You want me or anybody else to strive for a standard you yourself would not even attempt. And you know it too, because as soon as you got called on it, you backed away and decided not to take the test. And the test was for you to actually walk the walk. You look again and again, you see people all through the spectrum of life that they may talk a good game, but when it comes time to actually deliver, they got no game. I've seen this in the auto industry, them Porsche guys. They all talk a good game, but then when it comes down to it, only a handful of them are really all that in a bottle of sunshine. The rest of them just say the same things they heard the guys who are really good say. They're just copying or parroting what the real talent said without having the real talent. And you can't tell until the test is done. Until you actually take the test, then we know who's who. This thing where the double standard crowd wants you to pass the test that they created that they're not going to take, yeah, they know they couldn't pass the test. They set the test up so that nobody could pass it. They just don't intend on taking the test themselves. That's a sophist. That's like sophist or like some kind of magic trick. And if you're, now that you're aware of it, it's pretty easy to spot. All these people with double standards, yeah, it's not a double standard. They're holding you to a standard they're not interested in. They don't have a standard for themselves. That's kind of what allows these cults to do the heinous things that they do without remorse or anything, because they're not bound by the constraints of, being consistent in their thought, word, and deed. That's a lot harder to do than just talk a good game. Shit, any teenage kid could watch a TV show and talk a good game. When it comes time to deliver out in the real world and actually live by that standard, yeah, then we see what's what and who's who. So I'm thinking everybody who actually believes in one standard for everybody should really call everybody on that whole double standard thing, because as soon as you do, everybody's going to know that clown, yeah, he doesn't have any standards whatsoever. And he's just asking you for some excuse to steal your shit or for you to owe him something for something he didn't do. It's a way to gain advantage, a sophist stunt. Now that we're all aware of it, I think you all find it really easy to spot that one coming. All you got to do is think to yourself, what if the roles were reversed? Would that be acceptable for that person to accept the responsibility? They always like to have you accept responsibility for the evil deeds of some other person, but they're not going to go there. They don't want to. So it's not a double standard. It's a sophist stunt. And if you call them on it, yeah, they'll backtrack and everybody will know they're full of shit. And we really should call them on that stuff. I thought it was a good rant.